In the past, I considered myself a serial procrastinator. Like I always had a bunch of important things to do, but for some reason, I could never muster enough energy to do them. I just had a really hard time being consistent, doing what needed to be done. These could be things like going to the gym, studying each day, or working on a side hustle. Sure, I could do them perhaps for a week or two when I felt super motivated, but then eventually I reverted back to my original state. Someone who kept pushing what needed to be done. Fast forward to 2023, all that changed. I would now consider myself as someone who's highly driven, as someone who's a go-getter. So how exactly did I make this transformation, and how you can make this transformation too? You see, in the times that we live in, the world is full of instant gratification. Want high-calorie food? There's an app for it. Want to see naked women? There's an app for it. Want to be entertained by watching thrilling movies? There is an app for it. All these stimulants that offer you so much pleasure are at the tip of your fingertips at all times. Living in such an environment over time makes you sedated and, well, content. It eventually erodes your ability to do hard things because you never had to do any of these hard things to achieve these pleasures. This is why monk mode is absolutely necessary in 2023. So what exactly is monk mode? Monk mode is about the rejection of instant pleasure. The goal is to get pleasure, but through activities that require effort and add value to your life. For example, let's compare two activities. Activity 1 is something like consuming fast food. Though the act of eating junk is pleasurable, it actually requires no effort to do so. And not just that, as a repercussion of performing that act, your life actually gets worse. Like you get fat and have brain fog. Let's now look at another activity. Let activity 2 be something like working out. Now this activity does release dopamine too. Like your brain literally rewards you with pleasure when it believes that it is doing something productive. But it requires some effort to finish that workout and unlock this pleasure. Like you actually have to get up, get dressed, lift the weights, feel that burn and finish the workout. It is only then that your brain releases the pleasure that you have accomplished by doing something hard and by doing something productive. By performing activity 2, not only have you trained yourself to be able to do hard things, but as a consequence of this activity, your life actually does get better. By working out, you are actually becoming stronger, more in shape, your mood is uplifted, and a whole bunch of other things. This is what monk mode is actually all about. It's about replacing activities which merely give you instant pleasure with activities that require effort but impact your life positively in the long run. If you string together several such activities for a long enough time, then your life will show massive changes. Let me tell you something about the life of a sedated man. The average male is hooked to porn that offers him an unlimited number of women, doing whatever it is that he desires. The average male has horrible eating habits. The junk that he consumes makes him feel lethargic and kills his drive and hunger to do things. He probably is surrounded by a bunch of other such sedated men who live similar lives, and they hang out on the weekends and waste all their time together by pursuing some other form of activity that offers them instant gratification. Now this sedated male has absolutely no desire to put in the hard work. It's because he's so used to having pleasure for free, with a few clicks. But the truth is that there is no such thing as free pleasure. The pleasure that he experiences at the moment comes at the cost of his future self. He has now robbed his future self of motivation and energy. If you want to stop being this sedated male, this zombie who's just floating like a leaf in the wind, then you need to quit activities that offer you instant gratification and replace them with activities that offer pleasure but also require some amount of work to be done. Living your life all these years as a sedated male has atrophied your hard work muscles. You need to grow these muscles of hard work again. Now granted, the first step in the journey is hard, but trust me, the momentum builds up and the journey gets easier. And working hard almost becomes your second nature after a while. Here are certain things that you could do on your monk mode journey to build that muscle of hard work. You could try fasting. Nothing builds up your self-control and ability to reject instant pleasure than fasting. Think about it. Saying no to food and water for a couple of hours really embeds the principle of self-control into you and allows you not to shy away from hard things. Not just that, but fasting has a ton of real-life benefits. Better circadian rhythm, better hormonal health. Additionally, you could also take cold showers. This act of voluntarily suffering releases a lot of dopamine into your system and therefore allows you to be more motivated and much more tolerant to stress. Remember, the goal of monk mode isn't just to reject all forms of pleasure and just sit in a room and be bored. It's only to replace the harmful instant pleasure with pleasure obtained from productive activities. But the big question is, why bother working hard? Because anything that is worth accomplishing in life requires hard work. And if you lose your ability and desire to work hard, then you're just destined for a life of mediocrity. A person who's sedated by instant pleasure often does just enough to stay afloat, just enough to not lose the job. However, a man who is accustomed to doing challenging things has enough callousing that allows him to go the extra mile. He's often more motivated, just hungry. This allows him to work longer and harder and therefore accomplish more. The individuals who one would consider at the top of their fields are individuals that are really driven. This could be a star athlete or a computer scientist. The reason why these individuals are so driven is because they are not sedating themselves by falling into the trap of instant gratification. They are not numbing themselves with pleasure. Monk mode is an effort to live life consciously, to recognize that an activity that you perform impacts your life, either negatively or positively. It is the substitution of fleeting instant gratification with long-lasting delayed gratification. You need to go into monk mode, especially if you're a young man, because when you're young, you have all this energy. If this energy doesn't get into a positive outlet, then it often leads to indulging in self-destructive habits. There you have it, folks. These were my reasons why you need to adopt monk mode as a lifestyle. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you drop a like, and if you're interested in content that revolves around self-improvement and productivity, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. Until next time, keep the ball rolling and keep self-improving.